this is Sam, and the one on my shoulder is Buddy. And Buddy actually is a therapy animal. He works with children with autism. He works with children in reading therapy. That's the first thing we did, is we got invited to join a group where he literally sits on children's laps while they read to him. Aww. And he'll get his face right in the book and look at the pictures, and he'll like, okay, and he'll nod along with them. And he'll follow the story, and if the child doesn't turn the page fast enough, Buddy will try to help. And, a real joy has been, now that's called Pause to Read, and we're over here at the library second Saturday of each month. And but the other program that we work with is a group called Positive Friendships. And now Sam is not registered as a therapy bird, but he is, and that we did that several years ago. He's been registered as a therapy animal with Pet Partners. And this is actually his picture on their shirt. And, so he was the image for bird therapy for them. And this is Sam. Now, Buddy and Sam both came to me late in life. Buddy was about 19. Sam was about 25, 26. Wow. And for those of you that are thinking about getting a bird after seeing these guys, as easy as it looks. The most important thing is that you have to build a rapport with the bird, a relationship, a bond. And now, I know other people that I would also call bird whisperers. But the central part of that is you have to connect with the birds. You have to love the birds. And if you feel it, they will. Aura, which is actually sort of a woo-woo term for the magnetic field that we all have. It's ultraviolet colors. The birds can see this. We can't. And I've had birds pick me out, I think, because they like the color of my magnetic field. And I have one in particular at home that I didn't bring because he would try to attack these other two. It's a little tiny thing. And also, getting bit is one of the things that will happen. Now, this was not from a bite. I got a new set of knives to cut up the bird, so it kind of was their fault. And I found out that they're much sharper than the ones I've been using. Well, there's a myth perpetuated by bird stores and breeders that you have to get a bird from a baby for it to bond with you. And that's a load of garbage. Some of them will even say, well, you have to hand feed it. You have to finish the hand feeding. No. Since these guys now, I've had for almost 7 years, Sam here about 6 months shorter, he was rehomed to me because he was insecure with being in the home he was in. He was afraid of women. And so he yelled incessantly. And these guys can be as loud as a 747 at takeoff. And in a small room, it's really loud. And she called me up one night and she said, Sam's got to go. She worked from home. She was a CPA, had to talk with clients on the phone, had to have clients over, and she just couldn't do it. She couldn't handle him anymore. So the next day I went over, and my intent was to take him long enough to find him the right home. Well, that was almost 7 years ago. So the moment I put him behind the seat in my car, he starts whistling and singing. Buddy here actually was rehomed to me from an ex-girlfriend since the time that we went out. She had gotten married and moved to Winslow, and she was doing real estate. And she came across Buddy in a bird store in Flagstaff. And he was left there on consignment by a family to be sold by this bird store. Well, the bird store lost their lease. The Native American tribe there didn't want to renew the lease, and whose land he was on, and he couldn't take all the birds. And he knew that Buddy loved my friend Christine. Now, Buddy loves most women a lot. Buddy's kind of a player. And, but he'll always come back to me, you know, and lots of most men can't put their hand out without getting bit if he's sitting on the arm or the shoulder of a pretty girl. So, but his work as a therapy animal has been wonderful. Know about getting a bird. We go out to Joe's Farm Grill on Sunday afternoons, but you can always contact me and I could help you, but I would encourage any of you to get a rescue bird, or at least a rehome bird, a mature bird that needs a new home. And you decide what you like, what you can live with in terms of size and noise, and bite, because you will get bit. But let the bird choose you.
And I'm just wondering, from the rescue people in the valley, do you think the birds at that restaurant have been treated well? Or what have you heard as far as like those birds being, because I was imagining that those birds don't get a lot of human contact because they're in pretty large cages, so they can move around, but I'm not sure how much human contact they get with people. So
I've been there once. I wasn't crazy about the conditions there because bars are late night, birds need their sleep. There's one Cockatoo AZ Exotic Bird Rescue. And I don't know that they really belong to the perch or if they're just there on loan. But I guess it's a good thing in the fact that it gets some people thinking about getting a rescue bird. But again, like I said, it's a commitment. You have to think about adopting a parrot as adopting a special needs child that will be with you for the rest of its life. And also it has a can opener on its face. But it has to be a commitment. Yes, and you had a question.
Well, I just wanted to comment on the getting a bird when it's older. I have children and I did adopt them from foster care and they were older. My son was about almost 8. And people said, you don't want kids that old, they'll never bond. That's not true.
Forgot to mention this before, that has been particularly rewarding. Lucy got us involved with ASA Now, which is a foster families group here in Gilbert. And we go there generally once a month. Sam goes too. I have another bird that goes. And they interact with these kids. And this group is wonderful. And if you ever want to find a group to volunteer with and help with, I would suggest that you look them up. They're called ASA Now, part of the Starlight Foundation. These birds are absolutely wonderful with the kids. And we're almost out of time, but real quickly, I just want to introduce Ann. Come on up here real quick. This bird was a rescue bird, and it was adopted from AZ Exotic Rescue. This is Ann.
Hi.
And this is her pal, Rainbow. Come here, Rainbow. Come here. Come here. Come here. That's it. Good girl. You want to tell them real quickly because we're out of time.
Okay.
About Rainbow.
Yeah, very quickly. Rainbow was in a family, and she was an only animal, and they decided they couldn't keep her anymore, so they surrendered her to the rescue. And so I've had her 4 years. She loves children. I work with special needs kids, so she actually likes all kids. So I take her out a lot. She plucks her feathers. We had a really bad experience at our house. Her best bird friend died, and so she got very stressed out. But she's fine now. It's like a bad habit. It's like biting your nails. But she's a very, very sweet bird, and she loves me a lot.
I'm about the only one that could give Ann a hug when
Yeah.
Rainbow's on her shoulder. She's very protective of Ann.
Yeah.
And she loves me, but she'll choose Ann in a heartbeat over me.
She's wonderful. She's very smart. She sings. She talks. She plays peekaboo. And she has a friend at home. I have other birds, but she has another macaw that is her friend, and they talk.
Ann and Rainbow also work with us with ASA now with the foster children. And this bird is amazing with the kids.
Yeah.
And
I have one question, Dan.
yeah.
In my neighborhood, I've got these yellow and green wild lovebirds.
Yeah.
Do you know how they got there?
There's a lot of stories to that. Those now they used to be called peach-faced lovebirds.
Yes.
The technical term for them now is rosy-faced lovebirds, I
Okay.
believe. But the perpetuating story is that they were in an aviary that got broken into or knocked open by a storm, and they got loose. And they started out like in Mesa, and they're all over the valley now. And there's actually a site on the internet that you can find sightings of these birds. But I think East Mesa was probably the first place that they were really seen. It was between that and Cave Creek area. But they're all over now.
All over the trees.
Yeah, and so if you put out feeders for them, they will come. They are not tame, they're feral. So I don't recommend that you try to handle them. Sometimes some of the birds can have disease. And if you have pet birds at home and you handle those birds, and you can spread it to your birds. So you do want to be careful about that. But yeah, it's quite an urban legend here in the valley about where those birds came from. And and sometimes parrots, and if you've ever read about the Quaker parrots of New York and Chicago, they're hardy birds that thrive. They'll live on the skyscrapers and everything else. So parrots can survive in feral flocks in cities, and they will do that. So anyway, I'm sure that's all of our time, and we're gonna scoot out of here early. Buddy and I have a therapy event this afternoon outside Talking Stick Arena for the Rattlers game. For Positive Friendships is the autism group that we work with. Rainbow, come on. Come on, Rainbow. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I want to say thank you, Dan, for sharing your story.
You're welcome. I love to do that any chance I get.
Well, I hope that you and Buddy come back once in a while, because Buddy and I kind of have a thing going on.
Buddy's a love the one you're with kind of guy.
But I really do appreciate your being here. And our theme for the year, as you know, is One Humanity, Many Stories. And I feel as though some of these stories need to be better known than they are. I think that the love that is shared in so many different ways is something that we don't even know that's going on.
I'm in the right place at the right time.